Well, good morning, my Teaser King family. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody. Hope you survived Friday the 13th. I got the haircut, swimming, everything was okay. You never know. Just 1 second. So let's take a look at our gold and silver. And then it's Chinese New Year. So why did I put that in? Because they won't, I don't know if China's trading or what they're going to be trading. So that's going to have a U.S. only and Brit and Europe only effect. Now I don't know if that's good or bad. Hopefully the price won't tank too badly. So we ended at 77.41 silver and 50.33 gold. Now we can see the gold in the U.S. did go up yesterday, so it wasn't that. And actually, China was finding it down, and the same with silver. We're not sure. Let's look at Bitcoin. And Bitcoin 69,820. So I thought it was going to go to 120. Well, it's not real, so we know that, right? All right. So we look at what happened. So we have Chinese New Year's. So again, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there'll be some trading because when we had our Christmas and our New Year's, we still traded it in the U.S. So anyway, need to be very careful there. So I guess it goes on for 9 days or at least a week. So if things start going down, it's because China's not there to buy, which is the whole stupidity of having this on an option exchange. I mean, why are we trading gold and silver on an option exchange? This I don't understand. So this is our first problem. We need to get it to a free market. I've got some videos to play. I'm going to leave early. Taking Alyssa for Valentine's Day, so I gotta see that when she's available. So probably be on for about a half hour, maybe 45 minutes. Anyway, it sucks. There's no football. And, I showed you that thing on the ratings for football yesterday where they're a lot worse than you think. But they try to hide it. But this is the problem with AI, and this is the problem we run into now. What's real? What isn't? They won't tell you we're in a recession. They won't tell you the inflation is 1,000%. They'll just say it's 3%. They'll tell you Ukraine's winning the war with Russia, which is a lie. And so we really run into the idiot mentality where we don't really know what's real. You have to learn who you can trust. Who do you trust? And then when these other people come out with these statements, you have to not be gullible, and you have to, like, if Egon says it's this or Mark McGuire says that, then that's what we have to do. There was a Mark McGuire yesterday. It's pretty good. I'm going to play it tomorrow. I don't really have time today. So gold and silver, it's the only thing to own. It's physical. You must own physical. My friend might go to Panama. He asked me to, he says, oh, the price is cheaper in Panama. Well, is that in US dollars? And the question is it real? Why is it cheaper? If we're $77 for silver and they're what, 70? Does that make any sense? Is it 999? You got to be very careful. Why would they sell it cheaper? There's no reason to sell it cheaper because you can't sell it. The market's there. You can easily sell it. So you have to ask, you got to be critical and go, well, why? Why would Panama sell it cheaper? Is it not real? Would be my first guess. Is it not 999 1 ounce fine silver? Is it 9.90? Is it 3/4 of an ounce of silver? Why would you sell something that there's huge demand on cheaper? It doesn't make sense. So that's the point. So we'll see. Anyway, so you always got to be critical. And again, we're not getting infinite. And this is what I fear about AI. It's not real. It's not accurate. They're just taking data. All it is a data pull. Here's all this data. And AI is going to pull some of it, which might or might not be relevant. And you can't trust it. I would not pull AI for football. I would rely on me doing a spreadsheet saying, oh, they were Seattle was a road favorite and they won in the Super Bowl, and New England was a road dog and they lost. And I put it on my spreadsheet. That I can rely on because I'm doing it. Something as important as football, I'm not relying on AI to give me accurate data because they won't. I was looking at a video on the Sphere in Vegas. Cost $2 billion. It's losing money. It's very expensive, and people won't. They're like, I saw it once. I said, I'm not going to go back. It's too expensive. Do I really need to see the Eagles, a 1970s band? And I don't know what it could, $500-$600 to see it. So it's like you're seeing a concert, but it's not live, or maybe it is live. It's like the IMAX, I guess, but I can go to IMAX. Why do I need to not? Just a second. Just a second. All right. Sorry about that. Valentine's Day. So the sphere is very expensive, and everybody's. Where did it go? I hate when you come back and it's like, where did it go? All right. So here's sphere.
In its first, these are the staggering financial losses behind the world's most expensive entertainment venue, the Las Vegas Sphere, and why even U2, the Eagles, and Hollywood director Darren Aronofsky can't make it profitable. Since opening in September 2023, this $2.3 billion technological marvel has burned through over $1.18 billion in operating losses, making it one of the most spectacular money pits in entertainment history. Standing 366 feet high and 516 feet wide on the Las Vegas Strip, the Sphere is an undeniable engineering achievement. Its exterior features 580,000 square feet of LED displays, the largest in the world, while inside, a 16K resolution wraparound screen creates an immersive experience unlike anything ever built. The venue seats 17,600 people and uses cutting-edge beam-forming audio technology and 4D physical effects that make traditional concerts look primitive by comparison. But here's the problem. Despite all this technological wizardry, the Sphere hemorrhages money at an alarming rate. In its first full fiscal year, the venue reported an operating loss of over $500 million. To put that in perspective, the Sphere loses more money in a single year than most entertainment venues cost to build entirely. So, what went wrong? How does a venue that hosts sold-out U2 concerts and UFC events still manage to lose $500 million annually? The answer lies in a perfect storm of astronomical construction costs, crushing debt obligations, operational complexities, and the fundamental challenge of monetizing revolutionary technology. Let's start with the construction nightmare that set the stage for these losses. When Madison Square Garden Company first announced the project in February 2018, they estimated it would cost $1.2 billion. That number seemed ambitious for what was essentially a very large, very fancy concert hall. But as construction progressed, costs spiraled completely out of control. By February 2020, just 2 years into the project, the estimated cost had jumped to $1.66 billion, due to what the company diplomatically called design changes consisting of guest enhancements. In reality, they were discovering that building a 366-foot-tall sphere covered in 500,000 square feet of LEDs was significantly more complex than anyone anticipated. Then came the global supply chain crisis of 2021 to 2023 and the inflation surge that followed. Construction materials became scarce and expensive. Specialized technology.
Okay, so what's happening here? Here's a quote. My brother went to Las Vegas and saw the Eagles and Wizard of Oz shows. He said the Sphere was very impressive, but he would never go back. The prices were insane, one and done. It's an overpriced concert hall. What could possibly go wrong? The Sphere is a symbol of Las Vegas death era. Now they know how many holes it takes to fill the Albert Hall. So what's really going on here? You created a thing with no with no demand. Carts, my Indian friends, still are there chances of gold and silver hike? Yeah, you're not really understanding. It's going to go up. It always will go up because the dollars are worthless. Your rupee, our dollar, the yuan, the yen, they're all worthless. So the only place to go is gold and silver. Of course, it'll go up. Just hold it. Plus, you can't stay in rupees. The problem will be you'll stay in rupees and you watch the rupee go to zero. So that's the first problem. The rupee goes to zero and you're holding it and you lose everything. So your first thing is to get into gold and silver to get out of it, to get out of the dollar. Gold and silver can't be inflated, can't be printed. It's got to be dug out of the ground so it will not lose value. And it'll go up, but you're not buying it for an investment. You're buying it to get out of rupees. That's your first thing. And then it will go up because the demand will go into gold and silver because people like me who understand you have to go into gold and silver. There's nothing else. Bitcoin is bullshit and you can't go to another currency. You can't go into the Swiss franc. So there's only a choice is to go into gold and silver. So it will go up. I don't know week by week. I'm a little worried with next week because of China's New Year's and I don't know if they'll be playing on COMEX next week or not. If they are, if other people do it, then no, I'm not worried. I'm not worried anyway, but it might just be a temporary glitch. We'll see. But just hold it. It's you have no other option. It's the only out. It's the only lifeboat. It's a monopoly. Just get into gold and silver and stop worrying about it. Now with the Sphere, what have they done? They've created something very expensive at probably the worst time to create in Las Vegas because these idiots have done real estate trust like a Caesars, like the Bellagio, and they're raising prices, which basically kills you're raising prices, which basically kills all the people who are going to come to the Sphere. Why would you go to the Sphere? Well, I'm in Vegas. I'll see it. Okay, that would maybe work. And people would see it once. And you get all these new people coming in. So you think, oh, you got all these suckers. They'll see it one time because it's something special. And they won't come back. And we won't get repeat customers. But it's Vegas. You're not worried about it. So a lot of the scams that happen in Vegas between the girls and other activities are because, well, they're not regulars. They're just coming into town and gambling and having fun. And they're not regulars. So I get them once and if I screw them over, it doesn't matter. Oh, they won't come back, but that's okay. I got them the one time. So you have a malinvestment. You have something that really isn't demanded. Perfectly happy in a regular theater or going to a concert at the Raider Stadium. You've made it all this electric light, so it looks pretty, but who's going to pay it? And as they're talking, the inflation, the construction costs, all the light bulbs, the whole thing is far more expensive than you thought, and you're not going to be able to recover from it. You can't, well, we'll just raise prices. I mean, it's only 17,000 seats. If you fill it, I don't know. And then how much do you charge? And the locals aren't going to pay it. And now you have nobody coming to Vegas. It's basically dead. Well, the people live there, but they're not going to, they might see it once. They're not going to go every Friday night and go see the same YouTube and Wizard of Oz or whatever. Um, it's funny. The Wizard of Oz is actually an Austrian economic movie about gold and silver, and not to trust the government. And everybody thinks it's this, oh, it's what a cute story, and it's about gold. You gotta love it. The Yellow Brick Road, and the wizard's the president. Don't peek behind the curtain. Anyway, so you don't have it's a thing for the tourist. The people live there aren't gonna and can't afford and don't really want to pay for to go to this thing every week. So that leaves you the visitors, and maybe on the weekend. I don't know if you're still getting any visitors at all. You're too expensive. It's okay. We saw the Sphere, and then your friends say, "I wouldn't go there. It's too expensive. It's not worth it." Or go see it once. I don't know, but they're not able to make money at it. What's the point of building something if you can't make money at it? So there's no demand at the price at the market. So in other words, the market's here, and the Sphere is up here. And so the Sphere needs to charge this to break even, but the market's down here. Oops. That's like Tesla with the electric vehicles. The market for a car is about 40, 50 grand. They're trying to sell it for 80, 90. Oops, there's no customers. You've got to know what your market is. And in a Sphere like this, you have no idea what your market is because there isn't a market for it. Yeah, people go to concerts and people go to plays. This is done by Madison Square Garden. So, yeah, you have that in New York, but not in Las Vegas. People from LA want to go to the clubs. You're not having a lot of gamblers go to Vegas anymore because it's $100, $50 blackjack. Well, nobody wants to play that. And if I'm really, really rich, I go to Macau and play it. Or the last thing I want to do is go to Vegas. And it's empty. I like a lot of people there, and I want to gamble and eat nice and have drinks. And I certainly don't want to pay for parking, and I certainly don't want to overpay for a hamburger. I mean, I don't care how how rich we get off of gold and silver. I'm still not going to pay $50 for a hamburger. I'll cook it myself before I pay for it. So that's the big problem. So you don't have the guests coming to Vegas to support this fair. And that's basic economics. First question is how much does it cost? Second question is what can I sell whatever I'm selling, and do I make money at it? And if they would have done that, they wouldn't have done it in the first place. So this guy just lost $2 billion and he's losing money every year. He has no chance of making profit the way Vegas is now. He needs Vegas full, and then enough for the people to come and blow whatever $400 or $500 a ticket because they got to see it. But it's not a sustainable thing. It never has been. It never was going to be. If they understood economics, you just don't have that many because it's a one and done thing. All right, we'll go see it. It seems interesting. It's pretty. All right. Oh, it's how much? Oh, okay. And okay, well, we've seen it once. We're not going back. It's too expensive. So that's a lot of money to spend on a one and done thing. If I'm going to spend that kind of money, I want to spend it and have people come back. I want repeat customers. You're not getting repeat customers at the Sphere. Maybe once, twice. People live there, maybe go twice a year. Maybe they bring in something else, but that's about it. Let me see. Okay, that was Alyssa. So I'll leave at 11:40. So you have me for another half hour. Okay. So anyway, it's just about business. If you copy what somebody's done, like a grocery store, a mart, a gas station, a hamburger place, well, so okay, sorry about that. Um, so you have that issue where if I open up a McDonald's, I'm going to get repeat business. If you're in a business, you want repeat business, and you got to be at a price that you're going to get people. People aren't stupid. They're not going to just blow all their money. So you're really going after high-end people to come see a sphere. You're basically killing most of the people that would normally go to Vegas. Aren't going to go to that. They'll go once and that's it. And they'll tell their friends it's not worth it. Or maybe you walk around inside, but that's it. So again, it's not repeat business. And the whales, do they really want to go? And if they do really want to go, they're going to go once. But, you know, I think people don't understand, you know, uh, these rich people, Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, are they going to go to this thing? Those are your whales. Although they might not end up being whales. If they're not in gold, they won't be whales. And that's really the whole point of it. You've got to be very careful who your market is. Oh, we're just going after the rich. Well, then you don't build a $2 billion thing because they're not going to come 25 times to it, even though they can afford it. They got better things to do with their money than go see a concert, especially a U2 concert. I can't see Warren Buffett or Bill Gates at a U2 concert. So you've run into a male investment, which is an investment made where you probably shouldn't have done it. So they're going to lose at least $2 billion. They might lose more because depending on how long they stay open, they're going to lose $1 billion every year. Probably not good. They have no chance of making money. The stadium holds 17,000. For them to make money, they have to sell X amount of tickets and popcorn and whatever else they serve there. And Vegas is collapsing. There's nobody there. I mean, the people who live there, but nobody's going. Maybe, I don't know. I know we talked to Titus went, I think it was Titus who went for a football weekend. And he said there's nobody there. He was there on a Saturday or something in the middle of college football. And he said, there's nobody here. So that is the problem. You don't have anybody there to even go to it. The locals aren't going to spend that kind of money. Yeah, they'll go once to see it, but they're not going to be regular customers. So this is your problem doing something like this without understanding, is there demand? Here's this big slump in Vegas because they're overcharging. Price is always the issue. What do we need to charge for this sphere to break even? What's it going to cost us? Well, they fucked up their costs because of inflation, because of the construction and everything else. It was far more expensive than they thought. Okay, and now what? Well, where are you going to generate revenue? Well, we'll have a U2 concert. Okay, yeah, I don't think so. I mean, maybe I'll walk inside to see it, but I've seen lights before. I always do that when I drive by and there's cops with their little blue lights on, and I go, "Oh, well, we need to slow down and stop. We've never seen blue lights before." It's the same bullshit. You betting on the race? No, I don't bet on car races. TK's house. Thank you, John C. No, I don't bet on car races. I don't bet on horse races. I bet on poker, football, most of that. They've changed the odds on blackjack, craps, and baccarat, but I can play those. But I don't normally. I normally, when I go to the casino, I'm playing poker and betting football. That's what I play. What I win at. And anyway, so here you have a sphere. What are you going to do with it? It's going to just sit there unoccupied because they're going to lose too much money, and nobody's in business to lose money. The same thing with the Raiders stadium, and they're building a stadium for the Oakland A's. So why is all of Oakland going to Las Vegas of all cities? The NFL is in big trouble. Let me show you a video on the NFL. Their ratings sucked. Here's another building, a $2 billion building in New York. It's really thin and they can't get occupancy. That's another $2 billion wasted. All right, so here, Super Bowl nightmare. Let's watch this for a few minutes.
So my boyfriend got me this black mug yesterday, and at first I simply thought it was a normal heart-themed cup for Valentine's.
They switched to the TPU TV. Hey gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, coming to you from beautiful, sunny Florida. I'm here with my wife for, just a little...
I don't know who this guy is, but I'll trust him on these.
Snow and the ice and the Philly area, but nothing can keep me away from you. So you're coming along with me on this beautiful little excursion. I hope it's
get to the point
as well. If not, you can be warm with me here in Florida. I just had to comment on the latest bombshell ratings that just came out for the Super Bowl's halftime show. I don't know if you've seen these for the Super Bowl in general, but for the Bad Bunny halftime show in particular. And they really are absolutely devastating. Remember, we talked about this last week. We knew that TPUSA, the All-American halftime show, would crush the Bad Bunny fiasco. But not even I, your Patriot professor, was prepared for just how bad it was for Bad Bunny and the NFL. So if you don't know, Samba TV, they're a San Francisco-based data analytics company that smart tracks TV ratings. They just dropped the real numbers from Super Bowl 60. And again, frankly put, they are a nightmare for the NFL. Nearly 50 million households tuned in for the game, 48.6 million to be exact. But when Bad Bunny hit the halftime stage, only 26.5 million stuck around. Nearly half the audience vanished. The Super Bowl lost half their audience for the halftime show. Let that hit you. To make it even worse, that's a 40% collapse from last year's Super Bowl halftime show when Kendrick Lamar headlined it. So they lost half their viewing audience, and they were down 40% total viewership when compared to the last Super Bowl last year. Now, of course, the question is, where did that audience go? Where did those mass millions end up? Well, as it turns out, we're now finding out the vast majority went precisely where we predicted they would go. They tuned in to TPUSA's All-American Halftime Show, a truly American show. Kid Rock, Brantley Gilbert, Lee Brice, Gabby Barrett, an alternative concert streaming live on YouTube, on Rumble, on various TPUSA platforms, and it exploded. It exploded over 6.1 million.
All right, so we get the point. The NFL, now, it went down a little bit because you had Mahomes in Philly last year. And this year you had Seattle, not a big market, and New England. Everybody's tired of New England. but still, it's the Super Bowl. And you always would watch that game. It's a championship game. You'd buy your squares. You'd watch the game. So the NFL is in trouble. As I said, how do they get the ratings? And we found out that the NFL fixes the ratings with Nielsen. But here's an independent rating agency that says, no, their ratings were way down. And that's going to affect the advertising, because then they're going to say, wait a minute, we're not paying $10 million a minute when we're getting, less viewers. So again, the halftime show was sponsored by Apple, because Apple wanted you to download their music. Are you going to download this Bad Bunny music? I don't know. I have no idea who they are. I don't care who they are. I don't follow them or whatever the fuck that was. And I didn't, it said I didn't know what it was, but I'm not going to follow it. But I'm not going to go onto Apple and download. And that was the ploy, was for Apple to make money. So Apple paid the NFL extra money so it was really Apple's idea. And this is the problem with the NFL. This is the problem with the government and the US right now. We're following people with money. So people with money are telling us what to do, and we're doing it for the money, but it's not good ideas. And this whole Russia-Ukraine war, we're there for the money. It's the British doing it because they don't like the Russians, I guess. I don't know the whole story there, but I know MI6 is behind it. I know the King's behind it. And Britain wants the war to keep going. The U.S. probably doesn't. I don't think anybody's buying weapons. I don't think anybody can afford weapons to buy for the defense contractors. But even if they do, it's not going to help the budget or the deficit or any of that shit. So you saw something, big deal. The most of the country's screwed. John C., why are the Raiders in Vegas? I don't have any idea. It's sort of like, why is San Diego in LA, and why did the Rams move to St. Louis? Because the way the NFL is, you basically have no followers. There's no followers in Las Vegas of Oakland. There's a few Oakland people who like Oakland. And I suppose if you moved from Oakland, I have a guy who moved from Oakland to Vegas, so he's a Raider fan. All right, so you got a few of those, but generally I have no idea. Most of Vegas doesn't care about the Raiders. We probably got more people here who care about the Raiders. I don't know. It was probably because they would build them a stadium and they got kickbacks. I would imagine that it's always about money. So that's kind of what I would say. I really don't understand why they would move to Vegas. And now the Oakland A's are moving to Vegas. They'll get nobody in their stadium. They'll be lucky to put 5,000 people in the seats. It's not like the Raiders. It's football, baseball. All right, they had their run in the 70s with Reggie Jackson and Campy Campaneris and everything. But that's in the 70s. We're in the 2020s. Ain't nobody goes to a Oakland A game in the first place. So that I don't know. I don't know why the A's are going. I don't know why there's a hockey team there. You're trying to make it sports, but you got to realize what you're doing with the casinos, all those workers who are now laid off and who you are now transforming with AI. Well, we won't have regular dealers. We'll have AI because they don't call in sick and take vacation. They also are cheats because it's programmed. So who wants to play poker with the computer that's fixed to not let you win? And you want the personal attention. I remember I was playing craps way back when I was in the 80s, when I was, I just turned 21, 22. And I bought this real cool Caesars t-shirt. And one of the pit bosses came over, and it was real nice. And she rolled up no, you're supposed to roll up this. It was black on the sleeve. It was gray sweatshirt with the Caesars, the Caesars logo. And then she kind of rolled up my sleeves for me while I was playing whatever blackjack or craps. It was really cool. I kind of liked it. but that's kind of what it was, that personal touch. And if you just have uh, AI doing it and it's all fixed, so you've lost all your people because the dealers are the ones and the waitresses are the ones who would go to the Raider games and the Oakland A games, especially the Oakland A games, right? And now you're building another stadium and that they're going to lose money on that. And it's more for the people who live there, get to pay the tax. I always love that. They pay the tax on the stadiums. Like, what the fuck? So anyway, so you have all these malinvestments going on, and then you're chasing everybody out of Vegas basically because of all this, all the layoffs. I mean, you don't really have regular companies there. You have the casinos, but if you're getting rid of all the casinos, or you're keeping them, but with AI or with computers, they don't get a paycheck. They don't go to the Oakland A games. They don't go to the grocery stores. You're killing the whole economy there. So where they think they're smart saving money, they're actually killing themselves because you won't have a city there. And the people living there, more and more people are going to leave because of the conditions, because of there's no jobs, especially people who work at the casinos. They're really not skilled labor. They're not like finance or IT or lawyers or something. They're non-skilled labor. They park cars and they deal blackjack and they get you drinks. No skill involved there. Yeah, you got to be friendly to the people and they try to be for the tips. But if you take all those people out, people will move to a different city because of no jobs. And you replace them with AI, nobody wants to gamble there. So you're basically killing Las Vegas, as we've talked about. The Sphere, which is based on everybody being there, you've killed the locals, you've killed all the customers. So who's going to come to your Sphere? And then you have this other thing here. And the Super Bowl ratings are down. Football's down. The only reason we watch football is because we bet on it. If we didn't bet on it, I wouldn't watch it right now because the product's so bad. Moving the kickoffs, and they're trying to make it for women. So what they're saying, what they're doing is they're saying, okay, here's football, and we've got the guys, and they're watching it, and we got fantasy sports, and we've got prop bets, and we got regular bets and teasers. So they're all betting on it. But who we don't have are the women. So let's go after I'm surprised they haven't gone after the kids. We'll go after the women, and we'll kind of friendly it up so the women will get into it and watch it. No, it's football. It's hitting. If women don't like that, they probably shouldn't be watching it. Let them go watch baseball. But why are you going after the market? There is no market there. Again, another malinvestment. So there's so many times that people are doing things there's no demand for, and they're trying to then create demand. Oh, well, create a demand for women to watch. If women wanted to watch football, they'll watch football. They like the hits too. They'll bet on it too. I got some women who use my service and bet on the games. So, that's where it is. So I don't know. But I guess the Raiders, Vegas offered them a good deal, probably bought them out of the Oakland Coliseum and probably paid them because they think, well, having the Oakland Raiders here will increase rooms and food and everything else, which it won't. I mean, the Raiders are so bad now. I mean, that's the other thing. They're so bad. Here, you just moved to Vegas. You got this beautiful stadium and it's going to be half empty because it's going to be very expensive and nobody really cares. Nobody wants to see a last place team. So anyway, so that's that. So anyway, NFL ratings crash, which we know about. What else was I watching? I hate these when it says Ukraine falls the Lewinsky regime collapses, and then I watched the video and it didn't collapse. It's collapsing, but he's clearly saying it collapses, which is false. I was watching Milton Friedman on the inflation cycle. He doesn't understand it either, and I was really shocked.
What has happened, in fact, over the last several decades is that we've been on a roller coaster. Inflation rates have risen. When they get up to a high enough point, there's great public pressure to bring them down. They are brought down. Then there's a great excitement about recession and unemployment, and they are brought up again. But each peak is higher than the preceding peak, and each trough is higher than the preceding trough. Now we're on the upgrade of one of those roller coasters now. The preceding peak was up around 11 or 12%. If history continues to repeat itself, the next peak will be higher than that. But sooner or later, the public will demand that it be stopped. And when that happens, it will be stopped, because inflation is a disease that we know how to cure. What's needed is not the knowledge, it's the will. It's the political will and
All right, so even
willingness to take
he doesn't understand.
what's needed.
He doesn't understand what inflation is. Inflation doesn't go down. He thinks it's prices. It's the money printing. It devalues the dollar. The value of the dollar goes to zero. What the fuck's he talking about? That it's a cycle that goes up and down. It doesn't. Again, he's not listening to who the people are saying, oh, costs went down to 3% or 2%. That's not real. That's not what inflation is. The dollar loses value. It never recovers. The only way to cure inflation is to bring out a new dollar backed by gold. That's it. There is no cycle. Like everybody thinks in 1980 inflation was 20%. Volcker comes in and he raises interest rates to 20%, and all of a sudden, oh, inflation went down. Well, that's not what happened. Prices might have went down. Inflation didn't go down. That's why in 1987 you had the big stock market crash, because it delayed it a little bit, but it never went away. And then in 2000 it collapsed again in 2008, because you've never fixed it, because it never goes down. Once you print the money, $150 trillion, the money's worthless. That never gets corrected. Now they can report, Trump can say inflation is 3%, he's lying through his teeth, or he just doesn't know. And they're looking at cost. I'm looking at a 20 ounce Verner's, it's like $2.60 for 20 ounces. So fuck it, I'll just get the 2 liter for $2.99. And I get 3 of the bottles if I want. I don't drink that much pop. That's why it's like, if I want like chips in a pop when going to the pool or coming home, then I'll get that. But it's like $2.50 for 20 ounces. It's a joke. But he doesn't get inflation, which just shocked me. So to really explain it, it's you printed money and the dollar is worth less. So it takes more dollars. It takes more dollars to buy something: gold, silver, tuna fish, M&Ms, Oreos, whatever. And that's where people get confused. They think, well, it takes more dollars to buy it, and if it doesn't take more dollars, then there is no inflation. No, the money is printed. The money is worthless. Weimar 1920 to 1923 in Germany. They tried printing. They printed more and more dollars, which made it worth less and less. The only out there was gold. You can't stop it. So I don't know what he's thinking, because it is not prices going up. It takes more money because the money's worth less. That's what happens. So and it can't be reversed. The only way you save this from total collapse is to back it by gold, because the gold will be the value. But if you're too stupid to do that, Donald Trump, and you keep printing this shit and having a $39 trillion debt, you're fucked. So what Trump's trying to do is print the money to zero and then take that money and pay the Chinese and the Russians and the Japs and the Germans and whoever has our treasuries, including our own pension funds and life insurance and that. You're going to pay them back with money that isn't worth anything. This is their master plan. Here's your money. It's not worth anything. I don't want it. That's what they're going to try to do to pay off the debt is inflate the money to zero. And then here's €5. What can I do with that? Nothing. But I owe you $5 or I owe you €5. Here you go. And that's like how stupid it is. You can't do that. People, this is why all the countries are terminating their bonds now, because they see what's happening. They don't want to get paid in worthless dollars. So that's why China and Russia and Japan and Germany are, I don't want it. I don't want the bonds. Give me my money. And then they go and buy gold and silver with it. So I don't know what the U.S. is actually doing by shorting the gold and silver. It makes zero sense. You should be accumulating it. Getting the price down is so you can get out of your options that you shorted. You're freaking idiots. Why are you shorting anything? Why are you shorting the most demanded thing in the world? It just doesn't make sense. Anyway, so I will leave you with that. Tomorrow we'll look at Mark McGuire. I got to go get Alyssa. Valentine's Day with her. And that'll be it. So have a good day. www.teaserking.com. I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow will be a normal day. I'll be on about 10:30. And we'll talk, but I got to go get her, and it's nice I can get her early, so I'm going. All right. Have a good day, everybody. www.teaserking.com. Again, you can email me. Just go to teaserking.com. On the homepage, you can get my email and email me if you have other questions. But otherwise, Cart, all I can say is just keep buying. Everybody just keep buying your gold and silver as much as you can afford. The nature of the game is to get out of this. You must get out of this. It's not worth anything. Once you understand that and you dump your stocks and you get out of the fucking Bitcoin that's worthless, that's a Ponzi scheme. Get out of these Ponzi schemes you're in. You don't know you're in Ponzi schemes. This is a Ponzi scheme. Bitcoin's a Ponzi scheme. The stock market's a Ponzi scheme. The quicker you understand that and you can get into something like silver and gold, which are not Ponzi schemes, the better you'll be. All right, I got to go. Happy Valentine's Day.